Oh, hello. Hello, everybody. And here we're back fighting the tech, fighting all the things that are fighting us, trying to stop us to do this thing we do once a month, hopefully. Uh, I I can tell you a very little horror story, as in I tried to do this last week, last Friday, because that was the day, and everything came against me. Computer decided to give me the middle finger, so I had to abort basically. And the end today has not been much easier. It's maybe it's a sign that we should do this more often, so the tech doesn't get all discombobulated and keeps working, and we keep an eye on it. What do you think? Let us know in the chat if you think this show should be happening more often. Well, I can see there's already people saying hello, so hello back. And we got a little challenge. We got a little surprise for you today. We're going for a little bit off the beaten path, or from another point of view, we're starting to take off and trying to be a little more adventurous and trying to showcase what's the actual spirit of Six Oscillators. Uh, because you're the first comers. Welcome, Keith in Watford. Welcome, Man with Beard, As You Head, and whoever comes next, you're gonna be welcome as usual from my part and from my co-host tonight, because luckily he is back. He's back from the dead. Because otherwise he would have not. He wasn't here last week because he was basically going down with the dead. We all know him and love him, Mister Synthetic. Hello
Hey,
there.
everybody, that's
You're back.
Romero's dead, not Grateful Dead. Just to let
Okay.
everybody know that. So,
Would you be so gracious to explain a little bit? Where were you? Where were you doing? And how fun was that?
it's great. If you haven't already seen the videos I posted live or the ones I'm slowly posting that were recorded locally, Monroeville Mall, Pennsylvania, in the town of Monroeville, which is kind of I guess that's southeast of Pittsburgh. So that's where they shot 1978's Dawn of the Dead, as well as some towns in the area. Another town nearby, for probably even more famous movie, Night of the Living Dead, 1968, was shot in Evans City Cemetery and some stuff around there as well. I did a tour of the cemetery for Night of the Living Dead as well. But anyway, yeah, it was a lot of fun. There's a huge thing, lots of celebrities, lots of fans, lots of. They had screenings, they had autograph stuff, memorabilia. I didn't really have any money to go with other than just to attend. So I just had a blast meeting people I know online from Romero stuff, as well as famous guys like Tom Savini, and it was a creep year, so it was Night of the Creeps, Creep Show 2, etc., etc., and then of
Hey,
course Dawn
Andy.
of the Dead always. Yeah,
Let me stop you for a second. They're
yeah.
complaining you're a little quiet. Could you crank up your volume? All of them. Just lift off the master.
How about that? Is that better?
That's it's better to me. You
I probably
people out
bumped it
there in
when
the
I was playing with
computer.
the pedal. Sorry about that. So
Pedals. Yeah, we love that.
yeah. Anyway,
What are
so
you
yeah,
saying? Sorry.
it was fun. And guys like Tom Atkins was there. He's been in Halloween 3 and Night of the Creeps and stuff like that. The guy's like 85 or something like that. He's way up there, still plugging along. Just you know, guy's been in the business forever, and he's still there and a cool guy. So it was a fun event. So good times.
So, what did you get to do actually, apart from assisting to the panels and listening to all the people who was involved on the making of those classics?
Well, it's 3 days. So I got there a day early and drove around all these filming sites: Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Creep Show, The Crazies, which is Evans City, Martin, the vampire movie he made. It was shot in Braddock, which is actually a really sad steel town. It's falling apart. and stuff like that. Even the TV station they filmed the opening shot of Dawn of the Dead in, although you can't get inside to see where they shot the actual footage. I went to the actual TV station itself, which is kind of an interesting place. But yeah, just driving around. Lots of deer roadkill out there. The deer are going crazy, and they get trapped on the freeway, and there's just dead deer everywhere. It's really creepy. So,
Jesus.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just attending to the chats. Do you have a little more volume, or should I put myself down?
No.
Do you have a little more?
Yeah, let's see.
And I'm going to go a little lower. And let's see if we can manage to do this.
The only thing I can do beyond that is go to StreamYard and bump it up manual. I have it set to auto right now, so maybe that made a difference. I can go manually down there and tweak it.
No. I put myself down. You put up. Let's see if that
let me know
evens
if it's off.
up
I just cut on auto because, and I play a little demo later. I don't want it to go crazy on the thing and get all distorted. So
cool. No, obviously, as I said, thank you very much for to the people in the chat to let us know, and please help us to give you the best experience possible. So, shall we start with what's going on? Let's do this. In fact, let's try to do this. Yay! Although, because you're still fighting the tech. You gotta fight! So, what's tonight about? If any of you have read the title, we're talking... tonight we're gonna try to play Synth-Tar without synthesizers. And although there's a little bit of a cheeky clickbait on my side, it's not totally untrue. The first step that every guitar player finds himself doing, because that's the first gear he has on hand, is trying to start doing synth-ish sounds with what it's at his command, which is usually guitar pedals, stomp boxes, multi-effects, rack units, basically electronic means, that hence it's not technically not a synthesizer, because according to the definition we show in previous episodes, a synthesizer is an electronic device that can generate and manipulate sound. So although multi-effects pedals that do not generate, depending on which one, they can manipulate and change and mangle and transform a whisper into a roar, something that can make walls crumble or tumble, or I don't know, or break. God, I'm bad with words tonight. So we got at least 3 sections that I like to show. First, as I said, the first section, we're going to talk about how far can you get with conventional guitar effects, or effects designed expressly for the guitar, and that they're attainable on any music shop to anybody in the world, and nothing really out of the ordinary, just a smart way of processing the original guitar sound. Second, we're gonna go one step further than that, by using technology that was, although based on the same principle of transforming, obviously digitally, and not so, because to make the next step forward, you need to bring the microchips and bring the notes and ones into the equation to get more creative and more powerful. Still are depending on the original signal of the guitar to create the new sound. And finally, I got a little surprise of a little Easter egg, kind of, that one of those manufacturers managed to put there to see what happened, to taste the waters. So for the first section, we're talking about just standard effects, the ones we all know. We all know overdrive. We all know guitar by now. Guitar emulations, amplifier emulations for guitars. We all know reverb. We all know delay. We all know chorus. I mean, at one point, that's all you needed to sound synthy. Just drench your guitar sound into a wall of chorus, and that was synthy enough at one point back then in the day. Yeah, as you heard, the first song you should be trying to play is Smoke on the Water, but we're going to assume you already tried that and succeeded. So what now? What's the next one? And for that, I like to start putting an example that I did on one of my previous bands, Jesus, more than a decade ago, where for a specific intro, for a specific song, we needed out of a four-piece band, singer not playing anything being one of the pieces, we needed to spice it up and have something that not only would sound to our taste nice in the recording, but also we could translate to the stage. So something we could carry with us. Because the problem is this band never managed to find a keyboard player. No one around that would like to play the style we were playing. And don't worry, tonight is not about EBM or thrash metal or of one of those bad boys. It's another product you could call indie music that I did many months ago. So I'm gonna just try to play a little script, some seconds of the intro, where apart from the recorded VST keyboards and the drums, obviously, the only other acoustic sound you're gonna hear is the guitar played by me, programmed by me to get that specific texture to the intro of the song. It's not gonna be too long, and then we're gonna elaborate on that subject. So I'm gonna leave you a little second with Andy while I try to play this. Andy, take it on. You're muted. I'm trying to unmute you.
No, I got it. Sorry, I was tinkering. Sorry, I lost track of where you were.
That's okay.
At the end there.
No worries. Oh, yeah, that's another thing I like to say ahead of the time. Tonight is gonna be slow because in order to do the demonstrations I wanted to put tonight, it's gonna go a little slower than usual. A little less talking, a little bit of dead air, but I think it's gonna be worth it. So please bear with us and let's get to it. So Andy, take it away. You go.
You want me to start with the weird stuff, or are you gonna play your
Yes,
demo first?
yes, please. While I get the demo ready, could you because
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Explanations.
So
once again, we're still talking about getting a guitar, standard pickups, nothing added on the guitar, with a standard 1/4-inch TS cable into a device that is going to do the heavy lifting.
Basically, audio out on the guitar. So audio on the guitar to various devices right in front of me, and then however you choose to play them or tweak them on the box itself is how you get your stuff out of it. No magic, basically, except for the circuitry inside, which is kind of fun, actually.
Exactly. The magic is happening inside, which is mostly digital magic. That is kind of the new generation, the latest technology that is doing things as magical as this. Go for it.
So I'll start with something really weird. If you guys haven't seen this before, it's based on Vocaloid, the Japanese phoneme software, which is used for Hatsune Miku, Virtual Pop Star, and all kinds of stuff. Now AI is now kind of taken over, but for a long time, if you wanted to do type in something for it to speak and it was in Japanese, it was probably Vocaloid, because it's way more complicated than the English phonemes you'd have like in the old Mac and Talk in the 80s and beyond that. So what I have here is Hatsune Miku Stomp. So it's a Korg pedal. I think you can only get it from Japan. I had to buy it online a long time ago, and I actually misplaced it so recently. Let me fix the focus on that. It's a little bit fuzzy. And you can see Hatsune Miku's graphic on here. She's singing into a microphone. And there's different phonemes you can dial in. Some are very specific, and some have a range based on what notes you play. So let's just go to the first setting here. And let me pot it up and see what we get. And you can add vibrato with the string bend, or if you plug a microphone in, it will pick up your own voice vibrato. Pick another section here. My playing is a little bit staccato, sorry, so it's breaking up the sound, but
It's jazz fusion.
Let me pick another one here. A couple of these are really wide ranging. It's like a duck quack there. Let me pick a higher note. Some are like pa, ta, ti. Let me see. If you do a little vibrato with the string, you can. Yeah, sorry, I'm messing up the vibrato. And pick one toward the end here, which is even more crazy. There's a great demo on this from Anderton's. The two guitar guys doing a demo. It just pretty much sold me on buying the pedal because it's just hilarious. But sorry, I keep muting the strings. Again, I'm a beginner guitar player in almost every sense. So
We all are
string
beginners.
slide. Anyway, so you get an idea of that. And if you could really play well or use a microphone, like I said, you can get some pretty cool timbres out of this thing that sound like a person singing. It is robotic and computerized to a point because it's Vocaloid, but pretty amazing when you consider how it's passing that inflection, either the vibrato you add with the strings or the vibrato you add with your voice, to the outgoing sound. That's pretty magical because most of the time when you add like pitch modulation on a modulation wheel on a synth, it's just this boring LFO. It's not realistic at all. It's just a wobble, right? Whereas this one is as expressive as you make it. The more wobble you add with your voice, the more you do vibrato on the strings, the more it adds with the speed you choose. So it's dynamic.
Yeah, it's very impressive how the detection technology has come around, and we're gonna have another example of that when we get to the second part. So now I think I have this ready. I think it's ready to go. So let me see if everybody can hear this. It's gonna be very short.
It's dropping out a little bit, but I can hear it.
Everybody heard that? Sorry, were you saying that it was dropping the sound?
It was dropping out a little bit, like a volume or some kind of auto.
Yeah, but that's
thing or something.
I think that's the song. That's how it is.
Okay.
It's a little wavy.
Just making sure.
Good. So what you heard that is basically a piano, obviously, a drum kit, process, obviously. That little ding, 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 ding sound, it was a VST. Even same as the piano, we did everything in the box. But the rest of the wobbliness, all the wow, wow, filtery stuff, that was me on guitar. Sorry, and I forgot to do this. That was me on guitar a decade ago or more. And I did it with this fighting tech, da-da-da-da. Let me see if you can see this. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's a little dark, but you can see it.
Okay. I can do it brighter, but I don't know if it's gonna. Oh yes, it's too dark. Let me see. Just give me a second. We got. Waiting. It's a little bit. Well, it's a multi-effects pedal board unit that Vox, after being acquired by Korg, released back in the 90s, I believe. I can't remember if mid 90s, early 90s, or late 90s. The Korg apportation to the unit was the side of the multi-effects, the digital effects, and the amplifier emulations. The Vox side of the thing, apart from the hugeness, that thing is really, if I can show it compared to me, hello, there. That thing is big. Basically, those rocker pedals are the size of a wah-wah, right? It's really big. It's not too heavy, but it's really big. And Vox, apart from the hardware, what they put in was their technology. That shiny thing close to the rockers is a tube. I think it's an AX12, 2F AX7, which the blurb was commenting that it was about trying to replicate the performance or the behavior of the power amplifier that the digital preamp was trying to emulate. For instance, if you try to recreate a Vox AC30, which obviously they could totally with no stops because they own the brand, they were on their own right to do so. The preamp, the overdrive, most of the timbre was created through the digital recreation, and the tube was there to add gain, saturation, sag, and simulate things like phase inverter distortion or power amp distortion. I'm a little skeptic about the whole thing of putting cold tube valves or tube pre or post amplifiers with digital technology. A little skeptic, to be honest. But all I knew is that at the time that the only options were this unit and a pod, a Line 6 pod, the pod sounded like an album to me, sounded like the music you can hear in the record once you're at home. And this unit, through the same amplification, sounded to me like closer. Obviously, we still haven't get there on amplifier emulation to be one-to-one replicas. You can tell the difference. People claim we are, but I'm also skeptic about that. I need to be proven wrong. This one sounded more like that actual amplifier and the actual gear when you play in the room. When the Line 6 sounded to me processed, like with a microphone, a preamp, a mixing console, a bass compressor, a summing mixer, all of that in the middle, and the final result once it's coming out of your full range of speakers in your hi-fi stereo at home. That's always my definition of Line 6 emulations, until they got bought by Yamaha and they released the Helix generation. That was a turn the page, start all over, and go way beyond what they were able to do before. I don't know how, I don't know the inners, the guts of the thing, but that's how it did. So with this unit and a little piece of software that, long and behold, or hold, sorry, words, that you would get, and you still can get nowadays, and it's still running. Like I'm gonna show you right now. In Windows, you could edit, I think, 99% of the parameters of the thing. Is this little thing? Can you see it? Is it coming out?
It's there, yeah.
Is there? Cool. So, and this is actually the patch that I was playing for the intro of this song, right? Oh, can you hear? Can you see the mouse on the screen?
Yeah, it's all there.
Yee! I love tech when it works. So this is basically the title of the patch. Okay, and these are the blocks and the tools you get, the basic ones, although there are sub menus behind it, that you get to use to do your patches. Every patch can have what they call a pedal, which is a pre amplifier emulation effect, which could be that's what we're missing. The menus are not showing. Up to 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, something like 13 or 16 different stomp boxes that you typically would put in front of the. Oh, what? No, don't do that. Okay, let's do this different. Don't change the patch because I'm gonna be playing the patch in a second. Right? So reload. Yes, okay. And go back to the patch I want to edit. Cool, which is this one. Exactly. As you can see, I'm really lousy with the mouse. As you can see in the pedal board, you got a big bunch of foot stomp switches, and you have your two rockers that, although they can only be assigned to one task each, they also have a switch on the toe, so that can also do something on top of the rocking forward and backwards. You also, going back to here, you also have what it could be called a preamp, which is the previous part of the emulation, the one that actually creates the sound. And to follow up with the guitar mentality, you can design your own preamplifier out of two channels, in a way of speaking. So you can have an A channel, sorry, wrong window, or a B channel. For this patch, I'm very, I think I created both, because the song has 3 or 5 sections, and by switching, chopping, turning on and off, I managed to play all of them. So one of the I think the other amplifiers for the solo, this one, the boutique clean, which up to this day I still don't remember what is. It could be, I don't know, something like it could be even oh god, words. This very famous no, not Soldano. Why is only Soldano? Jesus Christ. Do you remember these very expensive ones that people like Steve Ray Vaughan used to play? Uh, well, sorry, I can't remember. It's it's been more than 17 years that I don't read the manual, so I don't know what is
You're talking about
exactly.
the amplifiers, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, the amplifiers,
Like an AC30? Is that the?
dumbles,
Oh,
the dumble amplifier, which they are reaching almost as insane prices as, for instance, the clone center pedals, because they were built very few and they're very specific, and many things that make them for people, for many people, invaluable. Hence, they pay the price they've been asked. So what I did is I did a little bit of a mix and match. So I took a very clean boutique amplifier preamp with a crunchy or growly cabinet, 112, small-ish, with these parameters. Gain 50, virtual gain is kind of mm, you could understand it a little bit as variac. It's not really changing the gain, but it's making everything a little quieter and less pushed through. Then your typical EQ, treble middle bass, presence to boost the highest highs, and the channel volume, kind of a master volume, but only for the preamp. Because your final master is in the master section, which is good question. Where did I put the master section? I think I lost it. Good. So that is basically what is going to be. And in fact, just give me a second. I'm going to be demonstrating everything. Okay. Just give me a second. I'm going to change this to me. Mouse, help me. So I'm going to change this to me for a second. And I'm going to go back to me. Hey, I'm back. So just give me a little second. For instance, do you have the Synth-9 ready?
I have another one
Yep.
first, just to go before
Oh,
that one.
awesome, because I'd rather have the Synth-9 a little later, if that is possible. So
Yeah.
get this out. I'll give it to you while I get ready. I'm going to mute myself.
So this is ends up being more of a distortion pedal, but it can give a synthy tone to guitars. It's by Earthquaker Devices, called Bit Commander. So you have control over the sub, some upper and lower frequencies. There's a filter in here. It's not a resonant filter. It's just a kind of an overall filter, low pass filter. But it's kind of interesting. Let me flip over to it here. You guys can see it. That's a synth, and I'm going to do that later. This is the Bit Commander. So not too many controls. You only have 6 knobs, and one's basically a level control. So this is a filter. This is level. This is there's some kind of algorithm tweak here. But these are most of the tone changes. There's a sub, lower, higher, and sub. And so I've already dialed in a bit of a setting here. Well, hopefully the volume level will be good here. Let's see. I'm just going to do a really basic note run down the string just to give you an idea what it sounds like. Let me make sure I've got it dialed in here. Hopefully it's not going to distort too much without the distortion I want. You can hear it has a synthy quality to it. It's not just a distortion pedal. Again, I'm not a great guitar player, but just trying to get some clean notes here. I can tweak these a little bit one. So here's the filter. Oops, sorry. So it's taking some of the highs off. I'll go to a higher string here. Here's the sub. And some of the higher lower settings. So you can dull it down a little bit. But so I'm not doing the best demo of it, but you get the idea. Just gives you some grungy, distorted kind of tones with a synthy quality to it, like a growly Moog, mini Moog running through its own feedback. That trick you do where you plug it into itself. Very throaty. So that's a fun one.
Andy,
Bit Commander. Yeah.
Because it's called Beat Commander. You said that is some kind of drive or some kind of overdrive fast.
Well,
even
it gives you that quality. It's really just doing. I forgot to read up on it because I've had it for a long time. But
yes, my
it's
concept
a
about
digital
this
effect, but it's
my concept about this pedal, I think, is a beat crusher. That's why you
could be a bit crusher, but it doesn't sound like. Yeah, it's not your typical bit crusher if that's the case. But you're probably right. I don't remember.
I mean, I'm just deducing. I don't really know. I never had any contact with this pedal.
I literally just found this last night when I was looking for something else, and I go, "Oh, that might be fun to play tomorrow," and I forgot to look it up.
Oh no, it's totally awesome, and it could be a really wonderful first step into creating your synthy sound.
Yeah.
Can you show me? Can you play a scale on it?
No, not very well, but
can you try?
I mean, I'll just run up the string. It's going to be all the half steps. So. Let me do the higher string.
Cool.
Oops. Trying not to get the buzz notes here. So on that setting, it's more like a, it's almost between a bit crusher and a ring modulator.
I think it's very ring modi, but because I think it's mixing the original guitar with whatever effect it's doing. Is there some kind of mix or region in the pedal?
There's just a level here.
Okay.
The overall level, so it goes away if I turn it down.
So. Okay. Awesome.
So it's very buzzy, harsh, but also has some warmth in there as you play with the filter and your different dynamics of playing. You can hear it changing over.
Basically, it can go anywhere from a fuzz from a big muff to really glitchy territories. I like it. I love it. I like it very much.
Literally just the guitar into the mixer. No extra amplification, no extra tricks.
It would help to have some amplifier or even just a speaker emulation. Yeah. But very cool. I like it very much. Keep it handy. We might need it on a future date.
Yeah, I'll play with it some more and find some sweet spots for a future thing.
Oh yes, please do. That's going to be a lot of fun. So let me start by showing this again. Here we go. And what I'm going to start doing is turn it off. I'm going to be basically showing the stages to build this sound. Electric guitar, 1/4-inch, no extra pickups, nothing extraordinary. The only difference is I chose this day to use my 7-string because of things that we're going to be talking later on, and because the tech we're going to show later on, it's gonna help me to illustrate my point. Also, I just zoned out totally until now, and I just remember we need to make the full disclosure thing. all the gear you're gonna be watching and see and hearing tonight in the show is being purchased by Andy and or me, right? No brand did ever gave us anything, not even thank you for buying their gear. All right. So
Are you kidding? The brands don't
we're
even know
not
I exist. So
exactly. Well, I don't know if they might know you exist because you're going to Nam and you're right in the center of the hurricane when it comes to music rock stardom. But they definitely don't even know that I'm breathing nowadays. And and as I said, we're not trying to promote tech. In fact, we're talking in this show. I think that the Beat Commander, you still can buy it. I think it's still in production.
I think so.
The Hatsune Miku, I'm not sure if it's still available.
It's around, but it's hard to get. I think you can only get it from Japan or maybe used on Reverb from somebody.
Okay, so it's a reduced access to that one. The I'm 90% sure that the next one you're gonna show the is that the Synth-9, right?
Synth-9. I think I have a Mel 9, but I can't remember where I put it. It's a Mellotron one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think the Synth-9 is still in production, so that one is available in the shop tomorrow if you want. This Vox Tone Lab is, I don't know, discontinued 15 years by now, so only second-hand market. And the next unit I'm gonna show is still available, but it's not cool anymore because it's kind of old tech by 2024 standards. So this is the patch on its full. Let me know if you can hear that and how nice can you hear this.
It's cutting up a little bit. Is that going direct or through speakers?
It's going direct.
Okay.
Is it too quiet?
No, it's cutting out a little bit. It's also a little trebly.
Yeah, it should be trebly. Although I tend to design each patch for a specific guitar with a specific set of pickups, which has a specific tone. Let's not get into tone boot, please. Let's keep the peace. But and I'm not using the guitar I designed this patch for, so it's a little harsher than it used to be. Way harsher than you heard it inside the song. Not even counting post-production, etc., mixing, etc. But as I said, it's a little closer to this. Just let me know if it's not loud enough. I can make it louder.
It's loud enough, but I think you have StreamYard set to auto clip or something like that. It's cutting out a lot. So turn it on to stereo and not auto.
Okay. Let me try this.
Your StreamYard setting though, not here.
This. If this, it could be the gate. And should I boost it a little bit? Is it a little too quiet?
As long as the gate doesn't kick in, it should be fine.
A little boosted. There is a choppiness within the sound, but it should not drop as in silent. All right, so this is the full sound, which is basically made out of these pieces. I'm going to turn everything off and go. Yes, it's not going to happen in this window. Oh my God, one of these days. So let's take the ambient repeats and modulation out. So we start with a sound As simple as this. A little originally it was a little less hot because these pickups are hotter, but more like this probably. Right? A little snappy, a little bright, a little push through, so it doesn't disappear once we start adding stuff. Obviously, because we want to create an ambience and we want to create a very big space and a big texture, we need to start with a very, well, not very, but big enough. Oh, amazing. Big enough reverb. So that is the amount of reverb I put into this patch. Right, medium big, but out of the way, not really, because we I know that the patch is gonna get more and more complex. So let's not do it because the next thing we tried to give it a sickening vibe or a sickening texture, obviously you need some reverse delay, which is here, and turn it on, you get this. As it will become evident, the advantage of going down this route of the standard effects is that you keep the full polyphony of the instrument. You can play as many notes as you wish, nothing is going to stop you. With other technologies that, for instance, we're going to show tonight, it's not the case. Okay? So now we have the ambient, we have the wobbly. The second, although the chain here, this is basically the order I'm allowed to. Is it going to show the menu? No, it's not. It came basically with 5 different combinations, sorry, 6 combinations of those 3 blocks in different orders. Because sometimes you want to delay the modulation, but sometimes you want to modulate the delay for get to the effect that you want. In this case, delaying the modulation and then reverberating everything was plenty enough for our target for the song. So the final touch, the one that actually pushes this over towards the synthy level, I'm going to be removing this so we can hear it more clearly, is the modulation. Once again, first step, drench it in chorus. Short of chorus or dimension D or C, whichever you manage to afford, this filtron, which is a envelope follower, kind of somewhere in between a filter sweep and a wah-wah, but following dynamics, give us this touch to the whole ensemble. Right? And we finally put everything together and we go back to the original sound. It's a little harsher because each of these effects in this particular unit has its own, let's call it gain. They all act as gain stages on top of what the amplifier, the preamp is doing already, which is, as you heard, not too much. It's pretty clean, edge of breakup, not really. These other circuits in these particular multi-effects also act as gain stages. That's why the final result is quite more powerful in a way of speaking. So you end up with this. And as long as the guitar is sending electrons down the cable, the compressor of the amplifier plus the filtering, the delay and feedback of the delay, which is generous, and the ambient of the chamber all comes together to create things that, although it's not a synthesizer, could be I think it could be mistaken with one, or could be interchanged with a synth doing a very similar job. And this is this part of this show tonight. So, is the Synth 9 ready?
Actually, show one other quick thing first.
Okay, sure.
It's
God, you keep bringing surprises you never tell me about.
Slight departure, yeah. It's not that fancy, but it's just it's a nice thing. Let me bring this up here. So another Earthquaker device, because I have a bunch of their pedals. They make really cool stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome. I'm jealous now.
They make some really good ones that I've hooked to a theremin to give a theremin more qualities. Like there's one called Arpanoid. You can add arpeggiator to anything, which is really cool, just by audio. No MIDI, no CV, none of that stuff. It just takes the signal and arps it in very clever ways. But this is a reverb pedal called Afterneath. I just haven't used it that much, so I'm dialed in some little setting now just for fun. They even make a modular version now. If you have a modular setup, you can get Afterneath as a module. But I'll just show this real quick here. So it's the one on the left here, and I just do a quick little string. A quick little string on here with the reverb turned up. Let me just crank it up here. Has a really nice tail on it.
Nice indeed.
I've turned the feedback up quite a bit on it, and a couple of the dampening settings and stuff. You can make it softer or harsher or whatever, but it's just very make a little atmosphere sounds and stuff. Just nothing to do with the synthy bit tonight, but just something fun I had sitting around. I want to hook it up real quick. So let me quickly.
No, but you always need reverb. Can we have more volume of everything coming from you? Please. Thank you.
Let me just switch these cables around. So this is Electro Harmonics Male Synth 9. And there's quite a few cool parameters in it.
Andy, we lost your signal, your sound. No, no, no. It's nothing is coming through. Wanna have a minute and check that out? Just give me a thumbs up on the camera.
How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, now we can hear you also.
Okay, I bumped this stuff hanging over the buttons here. I bumped the mute button by accident. So.
Oh yeah, welcome to my world.
Yeah. So here's one of the synth presets on here. Oops. Hold on. Stupid straps in the way. And of course, as long as the guitar sustained, you got sustain. Got vibrato just like on the Miku Stomp. Is that coming through okay? Is it distorted?
Sounds good on my side. What is the chat is saying? Does it sound good to you guys?
Okay, I'm gonna go to the next preset. We'll just see how that goes. It's a very mogy kind of a pluck. Little bass, smoke bass sound kind of thing. Low volume, huh? Is that better?
Bit.
Let's try a different preset.
So basically what they're saying, everybody's saying is that they want you to rock on, so crank it up.
Yeah, I just don't want to
Yes.
too much. Alright, it's a little louder. Let's try a higher one. That one's got portamento turned on. So we can do some little portamento tricks like that. Let's try this one. Very nasally. Let the resonance ring out. Go higher. ballsy bass things synth there. Not too impressive on the high end, but you can still bend the strings. A couple more here, I think. Again, just sustains as long as the string is still going. It's like a string synth kind of thing.
Yeah, the sustain is a very good point because, oh my God, somebody's killing a dog. The sustain is a very good point, since one of the things you might want to start doing is in the first step to make a guitar closer to a synthesizer. And I'm hearing myself and I don't know why. So let me do this and this. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm getting some feedback. All right. So you usually want to start boosting the guitar either with a boost, a compressor, or just some flat out distortion or even fuzz to give you the chance of having a more synth-like sustain, as in organ. As long as you press that string, it will remain for way longer than you need in the context of a song. Obviously, you're never gonna get synth or organ sustain or synth sustain out of a guitar because the guitar dies.
Yeah, this one's clearly
Unless
dialed in
you
to
beef
give
up
you
the
the
guitar
keyboard
with
feel.
magnetic field devices. Sorry. Things like, for instance, the Fernandez Sustaniac or the Evo, which I think you have one somewhere in one of those magical boxes you have. And or things even more complex, like what was this device you were talking me about when we were getting the show ready?
Oh, which thing?
The one that can alter completely the harmonics and the sustain of the strings.
Oh, the Vo 96. Is that what you're talking about?
Andy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You're gone again. Technical difficulties. Okay, I'm gonna take you out. Sorry, take you out. Get my ugly face here while you fight attack. Fight for your right. Good. Paula Tola, some of the sounds you will generate channels. I hope you don't mind I share this, because I think it's a good interaction. Is Channel FC a band? Because Cosmic Debris sounds like a band to me. I'm not familiar with any of those, so if you could clarify it, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, can you hear me now or no?
No. Oh, Frank Zappa. Jesus, yes. Yeah, I mean, because most of what we're doing, at least, although the stone boxes that Andy is showcasing, wait, the Miku is digital, all right? It's doing the magic inside with zeros and ones. It's doing the analog to digital transfer and then back to analog inside. Oh yes, Frank Zappa, godfather of processed guitar, totally. And we honor him and we obey his command when it comes to create sounds you've never heard before, and probably you don't want to hear again. So the Miku is digital. The Mel 9, as long as I'm concerned, is also digital. It's basically converting analog to digital, making the transformation and spitting it out analog again. I think the beat commander could be analog, because could be based either, if it's based on big crashing or uses big crashing, I understand that's only possible through digital. But if it's based on remodulation or things like that, all of us that we have touched down on synthesizers, we know that that is perfectly possible on the analog realm. So it's a mixture there. But what we're gonna be showing now, in order to go further and to get really, really synthy.
Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
sorry. The Frank Zappa point is that he basically, I think he tried everything. Probably not the Avatar, but definitely the AXA, the GRs, the originals, 300, 500. I think he tried them all, and everything he could put his hands onto that would make his guitar sound not like a guitar, even if it's just for a bar or two. It didn't. I, with all my love and appreciation, because it's my hero, it's my guitar hero, it didn't help that he brought Steve Vai into the equation. And although my belief is that Vai learned from Zappa to go beyond guitar tones, uh, I think he was also pretty curious himself. So he basically was fuel to the fire. And yes, many of those sounds we're pulling now, that we are still flirting with the analog side of guitar before we go deep into digital. Uh, they're very extremely reminiscent of those sounds from those 70s, Frank Zappa. Uh, so I'm going to assume, because I'm not as fluent as I would wish to be, that Cosmic Debris is going to be one of Zappa's songs. So yeah, it is totally logical. It's making my head in. I'm hearing myself twice, and I don't know why. Let me see. It's not that. It's this. But why? Okay, that's not going to help matters. So, is this. Found it. Ha! Problem is, I need to put it back. Oh. I don't remember Billy's first name. Oh, the era with is it Adrian Bilu or Bilu, before the Vi time, because I think that was kind of the last, almost last albums of Zappa live. Huh? Sorry, you need to explain this. Bilu in a WAF uniform in Baby Snake's Priceless. What? Yeah, this doesn't really surprise me, coming from the Zappa universe. Everything is possible. Adrian Bilu, thank you very much. I don't know how you pronounce this. Is it Belu, Belu, Billy, Bilu? Sorry, Spanish here. What can you do? So, do we have Mr. Synthetic back with us?
Now, can you hear me?
No, we don't hear your microphone.
Weird.
And I have another minute while I start showing this next thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, no. Oh, wait. No, it's.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, no? Sorry, my bad.
So it was working.
Oh, value. Yeah, I think, yeah, that was my mistake. One of the many.
Working?
Get ready.
Can you hear me?
Come for the information, stay for the train crash. For the train wreck. Your voice is coming, yes?
Okay. Yeah, it's Adrian Belew.
Blue. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Kipling's Bear.
I think I
Okay.
only had one or two more presets to play if you want to hear a couple more on this thing while it's still
Yeah,
loading.
please go for it.
Hold on a second.
We were enjoying those ones very much. Go for it.
So you do hammer on stuff. Oh, well, that was the last one. Let me go back to the first one. That's one of my favorites, I think. Do a little hammer on the first one. I'm doing a little string bend by accident. Sorry, it's got little sour notes. Yeah, sorry, bending too many notes. Not the best at hammer-ons. So it's very sensitive, though. You can hear I'm just doing a basic hammer-on, but I'm moving the string too much. So it's transmitting that string bend, the minor string bend I'm doing, into an actual pitch bend, which is good and bad. If you're not a good player like me, you're gonna get some weird results. But that ability to express like that, so I can hammer on. Yeah, so there you go. That's the Synth 9, played very poorly by me. Sorry about that.
No, don't be. It's okay. It's today is not about the playing. It's about the tones and how
Well, if
can
it's me on this
you.
show, it's never about the playing because my guitar stinks. I like to tinker, but as you can see, I can't even pull on a basic hammer on without moving the string enough to get a pitch bend. So,
Okay,
but that's good for
I
beginners
think.
to see that. You know, if
Yep,
you're picking it up and you're getting frustrated,
totally.
this unlike on the Rolly C board, it's very easy. Or in the Osmos, you wiggle the key just a tiny bit too much, and you've made
Yep.
a sour note. So,
There's no security net on a guitar.
yeah,
There's no pre-tuned keys. There's no. They're on your own.
exactly.
So let's move on before everybody else basically goes to sleep, or even me. So this next thing I'm gonna show you, as again, fight in the tech. Let me get back to me, or to both. Let's get back to me because I'm gonna do another swapperoo if it's still working. Cross your fingers, and it works. So this is the new thing I'm gonna start talking about. Let's give it a needle bump to the camera. So, Boss GT100. If you've been around on guitar long enough, you already know. But if you haven't, I'm gonna tell you. In the Boss Kingdom, the GT units are always the flagship units on multi-processors, multi-sound processors, right? And ever since, I believe the first one was the GT3, yeah, those Japanese people and their naming conventions, they start already with a 3. the principle always was to explore how close to an analog system you could get with a digital system. So these units, although they claim at one point that they were using Boss pedals, as in the compact series pedals circuits inside, as in analog circuits, they were always mixed with at least digital reverbs or digital modulation or other goodies that started growing and becoming a staple in the line through the iterations of each, which from the top of my head, I think it went something like 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, and then 100. Every so often, 5, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years stops in between them, and banking on, this time the amplifiers, they actually sound like the real amplifier every single time. And every single time was an overstatement. Sorry, I'm not really a fan of their emulations. I don't think they master amplifier emulations yet. Although the latest unit, the GT1000, and I don't know how to call them or how to describe it, the smaller but as powerful as the 1000, things like the GT01 or the, I think is GT Pro or GT Go, to the point that now they put a whole GT engine inside. And let me get back to me, inside something the size of a pocket transmitter, a wireless transmitter, by the way. Obviously, for that one, you have to edit with a phone or a tablet connected through Bluetooth, which is very convenient until the Bluetooth doesn't work anymore. I'm not a fan of computers, everybody knows. Good. Fred's play cello. So, this one, I'm gonna show you two sides of how far the digital technology that Boss developed for these GT units. And please always remember that whenever we say Boss pedals, indirectly we're also saying Roland synthesizers, as in microchips, oscillators, processors, filters, digital to analog converters, because yes, in the shop they're placed on two opposite corners that they know two of them shall ever meet, but they come from the same lab and they share many patterns, they share many technology, they share even microchips, sometimes even PC boards. So that's why ever since they wanted to be different and they wanted to add on the GT units, on the flagships, things they would never release as a single Stombox. Things like Defretter, although that one got actually released. Things like Defretter is an effect that mimics or tries to mimic what happens if you would pull out all the frets on the neck of your guitar and start playing. That one got very welcome with bass players, obviously, because that way you can have a fretted and a fretless with only one Stombox difference. Things like envelope generators, envelope followers, things like synth-ish type of filters, as in not actually wah-wahs, but more like a low pass or high pass or even band pass with resonance. Those things on each iteration made their way into the units, apart from the emulations of not only amplifier heads, as in preamp and power amp, but also speakers and also microphone and microphone positions. Can you hear the difference? That's up to you. They were mostly many times the first ones putting it as a product to be able to buy, but I think other people usually beat them to the punch, as in how realistic the emulation was. Another thing that is a very good pro on every GT unit is the fact that, I assume because Roland, they all have a very, very intensive MIDI implementation, as in they could be either controlled by a sequencer through MIDI, common MIDI messages, CCs and PCs, obviously. Change. I cannot describe how wonderful it is the first time I find out that I could sync my patch changes with the synth player, or in my case, the drum player playing a digital drum. Whenever he changed kick through PC messages, he was also changing my patches. So he was not only saving me time in between songs, but also he was calling out for the next song to play because I could read the patch name. And I usually, for cover bands, for cover work, I name the patch like the song. So really lovely, amazing technology. I love MIDI. Long live MIDI, and please never take it away. So what I'm going to show is one of those digital technologies of capturing the actual guitar input, making it digital, converting to digital, and through algorithms, through digital algorithms, making it outputting something that is very, very unlike the original. I'm going to try to demonstrate one or two patches and then make a little breakdown of them, just to express, because as I said, this GT100 is kind of past the first half of the evolution of the technology. So it's pretty much there and it's pretty powerful, but still not quite fully, oh, I can not hire a synth player anymore. I can do everything myself. Not yet, okay? But the results are impressive enough if you're creative enough. For instance, this patch, and please let me know if it's too loud, because this is quite messy. And I'm gonna play it and then I'm gonna try to explain it a little bit, thanks to also, and this is kind of a new thing for Roland, an actual software editor for one of their units, which they're kind of famous for never having one. Librarian, if you're lucky, and that's already a stretch. So once again, 6-string, 4-inch, nothing extra, just the unit doing its job. Oh, sorry. Thanks to a technology they call COSM, C-O-S-M, which I never can remember what it stands for, which is basically digitalizing and reconverting from a kind of a digital sample, probably some prehistoric impulse response, trying to read digitally what the gear you're trying to emulate can do. And since you can do that, and it's digital information, you can also make it do things that real gear cannot do, because you can just tweak the code and push it beyond its boundaries to do things, for instance, like this. So yeah, let me know if it's too loud or I need to tweak it. No, it's not, but it's muted. Yay!
Yeah, didn't hear.
Here we go.
There.
Yeah, it's muted. Sorry. Now you're gonna hear stuff. A little too much.
It's gone a little low. I think your gate is turned on or something. It's going up and down a lot. The subtleties are disappearing.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
No, but I
Yeah,
mean it's dropping out too
it's
soon.
it's
Is your
yeah.
StreamYard set to auto volume? Check
Should
your audio
be.
settings for StreamYard. Should be just set for
Yeah,
stereo and
yep.
just
Let's
manual
do that.
volume.
Ooh, yep. Adjust. What do you mean manual volume? No, automatic
Just
volume.
well, automatic or in stereo, but not the gate one. The one at the top. Don't have it gated.
The echo cancellation.
Yeah, don't do the echo cancellation. Yeah,
Take that one off. Let's do
that'll screw it
stereo
up big
audio.
time.
Cool. Problem is on stereo. I have to adjust the volume. So let me know if now gets too quiet. All right. But it's a very messy patch. That's already one thing. And let's release the beast.
Oh. It's still dropping out a little bit. You can hear it, but it's dropping out a little bit. Maybe it's not sensitive enough or something.
Take that minimum.
By the way, COSM stands for Composite Object Sound Modeling. So
Thank you so much, mate. I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you so much. You saved my life. So yeah, that is how crazy. Let's see what's behind the hood in this one, because it's gonna be funky. For that, I'm gonna try to bring this one up. Hello. Yep. So sadly, this is gonna take me to disappear. Okay, I'm gonna be. Ooh, that's a good point. What am I gonna do for microphone? Yeah, because I don't know if you can see, but actually, what I need to go is down to the laptop. That's the one taking this. So let's see.
well, it's okay. The video will just be the laptop. You can leave the microphone when you use.
Yeah, but I need to go there to change it. To do any changes, I need to go there. So getting away from the microphone is not going to be funny. So, let me just switch things off and on, and I think that's going to be already good enough, at least for tonight. Because, by the way, I think we're coming to the end, are we?
It's been about an hour and a half. So.
Oh, sure. No, wait. No, half an hour.
No, hour and a half so far. The show.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I'm going to start switching blocks off, which, yeah, all the red dots you can see on the screen oh, sorry, no, I cannot point because it's there, right? But all the red dots you see on the, like, for instance, the first one is under OD, which is overdrive. The second one, although doesn't have a red dot, is basically what is called the divider, because this unit allows you to have either two amplifiers ready to be switched between them, or having two amplifiers sounding in parallel at the same time and outputting on stereo, the graphic doesn't really explain. It's a little confusing because it seems like when it gets back into the rest of the chain, it goes back into mono. No, although it's a single line, for everything from the mix box towards the right is capable of being stereo. That's up to you and your decisions. But also,
just in case this is it, is this the one that needs the older OS to work?
No.
Okay.
No.
I wondered why.
This is the one.
Laptop, so, okay.
This is the one which driver I could not install in Windows in the desktop.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I managed to do on the laptop using the same OS. So computers, huh? So not only you can choose if you have the amplifier or the things you put after the divider in this like two traces box is like two different paths of sound. You can choose either to switch between those two paths or play both paths at the same time into the rest of the chain. Or in this, since the GT10, which I think it was the previous unit to this one, the divider could be set to be a dynamic switch, meaning by the strength of your playing, you could switch between path A and path B. So you could do your piano notes or your soft notes on a clean amplifier, and just by the fact of playing harder, it would switch to a mega distorted amplifier or whatever you want to do. Although this in this change you can see only 3 boxes before the divider, 4 boxes and 3 boxes in the divided paths, and then 1, 2, 4, 6 boxes. Any of those boxes could be rearranged to be placed anywhere. After the mix, before the mix, after the divider, before the divider, including these 2 blue boxes, which are kind of insert. If you have anything that you want to add to the signal chain, you could input through that. That blue box would signify that is a second input is coming into it, as in you have you want to input some stereo signal, or you want to jump from one guitar to another without having to change the patch. So both things would be feeding the same signal chain, and at the end an output to the point that you could make and those blue boxes can be moved anywhere, meaning you could create an external loop of hardware with effects that the unit doesn't have, which, trust me, there are not many. As in, there are not many types of effects that this thing doesn't have. There are many qualities of effects that you might prefer to the ones inside. That's why they allow you to have an external. And also those external connections will allow you to connect it to the switching system of your actual guitar amplifier. So you, at the same time you are switching digital amplifiers, you could be changing analog channels in your actual amplifier. Yeah, you missed it. You have to rewind. You already played the Miku Wagu. We might give it another shot, shall we? Synthetic. So
yeah, if you want.
I can
imitate it.
Nah. Always innovate, never imitate. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first see, because I'm foreseeing that this actual patch is probably using both channels, both paths in parallel at the same time, because of how many crazy stuffs are happening at the same time. So let me first check that. I'm gonna click on that and see what's inside. Yep, as I was suspecting, that divider is set to dual. Basically, it's feeding the signal equally to both paths, path A and path B. Path A on the top, path B on the bottom, just for agreeing sake. And then is the channel select. Yeah, the channel select, if you don't choose a dual path, as in parallel, it would allow you to choose what type of switching do you want. Do you want to switch it with your foot? Do you want to switch it with a rocker? Or do you want to switch it with your dynamics, your playing dynamics? But that would be the first one. So we know that the guitar is first hitting this OD, this overdrive, and then it's hitting both, all those 7 effects in both paths, A and B, at the same time. And let's see what those boxes actually have inside. This thing is called pedal bend, which to me is nothing but an LFO moving some kind of possibly pitch on looks like a sawtooth fashion. Yes, it's moving pitch. Sorry, yeah, it says there on the wheel. Yep, and you can see the parameters. You got the pitch, as in it's going up and down 24 steps, as in 2 octaves, with tons of that sound and nothing from the real guitar. So that's a good start for a synthy sound. We'll start with an LFO. Obviously, some phaser biphase, which I think is a stereo way of having 2 lines of facing the sound against a center dry one. Once again, tons of effect, quite harsh manual and resonance, tons of depth. So to create the sound we just heard, yes, you need to make things quite extreme. And once again, we go to the direct. Nothing, basically nothing from the original guitar is being let through. So that's going to be curious, because I think the next, oh no, sorry, I'm just misreading. The next box would be a preamp. Which amplifier are we feeding? If you allow me, I'm gonna zone over those ones because that's not really relevant. So, and the fourth one is a noise suppressor, because, and even so, the patch is very noisy because you use a ton of gain for everything. Let's see what the other 3 are having inside. Obviously, the bacon of analog effects to sound more synthy, you need to create a second voice to the one you're actually playing. So you have an octave pedal. In this case, you have some of the original, so that would be 1 tone plus 1 octave down. Seems like, yeah, range 1. Yep, seems like it must be only 1 octave down. And the second note would be the straight one from the guitar after the distortion. Okay, remember that the first thing we did with just square the wave coming from a sine, just square it. So next thing we have is the B preamp. Once again, I assume it's gonna be another gainy thing. So let's zone over that, and a second noise gate for the second preamp. So then how is the mixing working? What type of mixing is it using? Stereo, as I expected, and they're basically balanced. So it's basically taking both lines, path A and path B, and it's not actually putting them together. It's just taking one side of the stereo channel, or the middle for both, Does it say in mode? Yeah, mode is a stereo, or yeah. So it's basically both channels are attacking both sides of the stereo field. I can see no EQ involved, not foot volume, no delay, no chorus. The next box, ACC, is an accelerometer, which is mainly to, would be kind of a very simplistic envelope generator that would only do one cycle of the wave, basically, as in ramp up or ramp down once. And you would use it if there's one of the parameters of one of the effects that you want to increase or decrease timely, on a timely fashion. You would use this one. The most obvious example that this accelerometer was put there for is the rotary, the speed on a rotary speaker, some kind of Leslie device, which this unit can mimic. So to change the speed, you would use the accelerometer up first and then down. And finally, obviously, no synth sound is worth of any consideration without reverb. But just for shits and giggles, let's see which type is in there. Oh, my favorite, plate. And it's not too crazy. Oh well, effect level is really cranked up, but the direct mix is also very in your face, so it's not really subdued, as in very deep into the cave. No pre-delays, that's why it's so mazy and so undefined. And short-ish reverb time, we're talking 2.8 seconds. Short-ish, as in not cavern crazy, but definitely not room short. Generous low cut, generous high cut, and extremely dense. That's why is a wash. This sound is a wash. But in this sound, as we saw in the mix parameter, and on the octave parameter, we're still having the original guitar, so it's not fully synth-ish. I like to change to another patch that I think is a little, that I foresee it might be a little more synth, because these these two generic boxes called FX1 and FX2 have a plethora of very varied effects. For instance, the D fretter is there, the slow gear, which is basically an automatic violin swell that the unit can apply to your sound no matter how you pluck the strings. Uh, they're in there, and also in there, I think in the FX2, it's one that is called. I wish it would show the menus. That is called actual synth. So I think this other preset is gonna do that. Let me check on that. We already can see the name is Wave Synth, and this is even simpler. We start with the FX1 box, which my guess is gonna be possibly the synth line. We have no distortions. We have only one preamp, and it's possibly is gonna be a clean one, not a distortion one. Noise suppressor, but then delay, chorus, and reverb. So it should sound very, I don't know, SH101-ish. Let's hear it, right? If I unmute it. This one is not that messy, I think. Famous last words. Yeah, he's behaving. So what we have here? We have a decent amount of filter. Nice amount of chorus to make it, to beef it up. Delay to make it even denser. And the rivet is not short neither. So let me, I'm gonna do the experiment. I'm gonna switch everything off, and then, like I did with the previous unit, I'm gonna turn then the blocks one by one to see how does it build. Because I'm having a hunch that that FX1 is gonna be the synth module. Let me see that. Yep, wave synth. So nothing but that module on. What we get out of the guitar is this. As I said, I chose to use the seventh string to show the the quality and the definition and uh, the range of notes that all this technology, which is nothing but applying algorithms to modify the original signal, uh, can reach. As in, this is an extra fourth lower than a usual guitar, and is handling no problems. As in, a low B all the way to the highest E, no problem with that. And so far the tracking, after my experience with GK units, is flawless basically. And it's mostly an oscillator, a synthy Moog-ish oscillator. We can see that there is no direct mix, there's no original guitar left through, so it's just substituting totally whatever you send off. uh, Although the cutoff is kind of high, the resonance is very low. And here we talk about resonance on a synth meaning of resonance. Synth level would be opposite to the direct mix. If you want to mix both on whatever proportion you wish, that's where you would make a bigger mix. If I crank that one, it just would get louder, and it might get in the way of the gain structure. Filter sensitivity is basically how high or how fast would it get to the highest cutoff or full cutoff according to your dynamics, because that's something that they need to implement in all of these units, because you don't have a velocity sensor. The velocity is in the dynamics, in the voltage of the guitar, so they need to adapt to that. Otherwise, guitar players would feel lost with other staccatos and fortissimos and pianissimos, and being able to change just by hardening the peak on your hand. Filter decay basically is how slow it's gonna come back to closed, and filter depth is how much of the dynamic is going to affect the opening, how high it's going to open. So let's start bringing back stuff. The next thing is going to be the amplifier, which, as I said, I assume is going to be a clean one. And clean indeed. This particular one is not even emulated any guitar amplifier known to man. It's just a full range amplification system, as in rack units, PA level, no thrills, no fills, nothing in the way of the sound. So it's basically letting anything that the synthesizer is playing, letting through and just making it louder. It still has some gain settings. What you see there is basically gain switch. I don't remember what it actually does, but it's for, once again, it does a change according to the dynamics. T comp is the tube compressor. If you, although is claiming to be a full range, totally linear, almost power amplifier, they allow you to have a little bit of give on the responsiveness of the note. If you ask me, it's basically adjusting the latency, but it's on a very tube amplifier-like way. Obviously, level is your master volume, and then the typical bass, middle, treble, and presence, which surprisingly is very down. It's totally off, which would explain why this sound is so dull. I'm using the brightest pickup I have on the guitar. It's on the bridge. It's a humbucker. It's a very bright humbucker, like you heard before tonight. So yeah, this sound is kind of dull. Obviously, some noise reduction, and let's see what other goodies they put on the modulation department. Okay, nothing really impressive. It's just probably mimicking an analog delay, but it's a single repeat basically. Yeah. Okay, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's trying to replicate a tape delay, but with one single head, because that would explain the feedback. So the short delay time, decent feedback. I'm not sure if this control works on cut or on boost. As in, this high might mean that it's cutting completely the high frequencies. How much delay compared to the original signal, and how much original signal do you want? Self-explanatory. Let's see what they put on the chorus department. Monochorus, as in monophonic, as in not a dimension C or dimension D, which is in itself kind of weird because, yeah, it's basically mixing back into mono with the original signal instead of splitting into a stereo panorama. And it's giving a big body to the sound. Okay, that was curious. I was letting one note ring here and trying to trigger again. It's not letting me trigger again this harmonic because probably the filter is already closed. So it's actually behaving like a synthesizer. It's when I stop the string, the original note, weird. It behaves different between bass notes and treble notes. Interesting. Wonders of the digital domain. And finally, reverb. Everybody want to take a guess of which one they use this time? And my favorite again, Mr. Plate Reverb. And we're back to the original sound. As you can see, this is how I still have not used what conventionally everybody would understand as a synthesizer to create any of the sounds we've created tonight. All right. Although they have synthesizer algorithms to transform the original electric signal of the guitar on a synthesizer wave, and in order to make it sound like a synthesizer. But wait, because that's the final surprise is coming now. In this particular unit, and not from the factory, but on firmware version 2, when they reached the second version, they decided to add an extra goodie for all those synth lovers, which, according to the success and how many people use this type of sounds on stage, probably on their terms it flopped drastically, which is something I'm going to show you in a minute. Is I need to go into the system and show you, and after that I'm going to just show you what it can do. They named this technology Guitar to MIDI. Since the units, I believe, ever since the GT3, they all came with at least a MIDI 5-pin in MIDI out to control external MIDI units, as in changing programs or changing parameters from the rocker pedal, or turning things on and off from the same stomp boxes that would control the internal effects. Sorry, it's not stomp boxes, but stomp pedals. They also started adding 5-pin in MIDI in ports, not for editing per se, but for other units, or synchronizing, as in MIDI clock synchronizing with other players in the band that would be using MIDI, most likely the synth player, but also to at the SysEx level to at least manage your patches in, patches out, so you can copy, make backups, safety. So the PC and CC language has been there almost since day one. The 5-pin link connectors have been there almost since day one. In this particular unit, I think is the second unit that got released with USB. So everything that it can be done through 5-pin can be done through the USB. And this unit, and I'm not sure if this unit alone, as in no one before, but the ones after did, also is a sound card. It's a 2-in, 2-out sound interface, right? So you could just buy this unit, connect it to your laptop, and connect this unit to your guitar amplifier or PA amplifier, which is highly recommended. Otherwise, the amplifier emulations are kind of wasted. And be the center of your studio. It would be your sound card, as in it would send your guitar playing into the computer, and it would take the playback audio from any application in the computer out to the amplification system, which is pretty neat. But with this one, they went one step further. Since they already have to capture digitally the guitar signal, and they have to make it notes and ones for the whole custom technology processing, they said, hey, why don't we, that digital code talking about a start stop nodes, volume of the node, as in velocity of the node, and node pitch, why don't we just make it MIDI language? And that's exactly why they did. They put a voltage to MIDI conversion in the unit. Funny enough, to my knowledge, the next unit, GT1000, does not have this. They removed it. As in, they didn't include it from factory in the first place in this one. Only in firmware 2 was added, but when it came the time to do the GT1000, which also is not based on COSM technology, I think it's called AIR, as in AIR, sorry, to define a possibly a higher definition grade of the same technology. I'm just making that up. I don't know that for sure. But this particular thing is not there, and I believe, among other things, because even in this unit is very limited. First of all, you lose your polyphony. The MIDI you can generate has to be monophonic, otherwise it goes mental, like I'm gonna prove in a second. Second, GT100, like all the GT units, were optimized or designed to be used with guitar, right? 6-string, mostly guitar. That's why when they decided to try if the market would accept a bass unit, they basically did a B version, as in, which in fact was the GT6 and the GT10. They made a GT10, GT6B and a GT10B, which is optimized for bass, as in bass amplifiers, bass cabinets, bass equalization, bass octaver, every fine twig to play nicely with bass. But this one didn't. Therefore, when they implemented the guitar to MIDI capability, they restricted the note range that it can play, because the biggest problem that Roland has faced, to my knowledge, since they left the analog paradigm and they moved to the digital / MIDI paradigm of guitar synthesizers, pitch is always been a headache or a thorn in the side of Roland / Boss, because on stage at loud volumes, still vibration is almost unavoidable. You cannot stop it. Strings are gonna move, strings are gonna vibrate. So you need to program the unit to ignore what it's not meant to be music. And that comes a very hard task to teach a 40, 50, 60, well, sorry, not 60, more like 30 to 45-year-old tech computer or DSP chip to differentiate between rumble, noise, and music. So it's always a headache, it's a thorn in their side. So one way to prevent that, too much mess, is to say, okay, you're only going to be able to play this amount of notes from this range to this range. Anything lower is rumble, it's noise, ignore it. As I'm gonna prove. What I'm gonna do while Andy, wake up, sorry, your turn, shows you, I think you have a final pedal to show, don't you?
No, I've already shown them all. I can do Miku again if people really want to see it.
Up to you. Wagu was mentioning, so he might appreciate it.
I can do a few more settings I didn't do.
While I plug the last speed of Kid just to show how this technology, how does it perform, what can actually do, and that would be the closure of the show. Okay, can you take it?
Sure thing. Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back.
Back to Miku. Let's get the focus on that thing a little bit a bit, you can see Miku and the little settings knob there. Sorry, I got this wire in the way here, but so there's a knob up top, and you have your settings for right now. It's set to. Let me see. Actually, a little more light so I can see better on my end. So at the top position, you have just an ah setting. And you can do vibrato. Yeah, so I'm screwing up my vibrato here. So you have ah, you have, I think this is pa. Some of these work with vibrato and some not so much, because some are phrases. This one is nya, which is a great one. Nyan, nyan. So this one doesn't vibrato too well, but then you can do the three sections here for phrases. Phrase 1, phrase 2, phrase 3. So as you keep playing, different phonemes will come out, and of course Wagu could translate this on the chat, because my Japanese is terrible, but you can get, in between strums, you can get the vibrato to kick in. That's one phrase, then there's another phrase. And just like the other pedals, as long as the string sustains a little bit, it's making up for the fact that it's fading out and maintaining the signal of the synth, or in this case, the vocal output. So the string has already died down quite a bit, but you can still hear it going until it just cuts off. That's the really bassy one. And one more phrase here. Hey, there's Steve the Bastard. How's it going, man? Yeah, Yoko started the screaming module. At least these are actual phrases. Hers are just, and actual phonemes. Hers are just flat out screams. So that's the one section. Over here you have some other tones like, I believe this is, so you heard ah, there's la, and let's see. It's like a la sound. There's a, you heard pa. What's this one? Oh, I'm getting some delay now. I think you're rewiring has added me into the mix. And then we have some random stuff down here, where as you hit it, just as some random phonemes. Anyway, it's just fun if you have better control over the strings than I do, or use a microphone with this thing and use your own vibrato of your voice to add more inflection to it. It's really impressive, actually. The tracking is quite good. The pitch tracking.
Did you try with the microphone?
I couldn't find my, I had a little portable microphone I used with my little SP404.
No, I'm just asking, did you ever try it?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's how I prefer to use it actually, because I have complete control over the mic.
Oh, yes.
Um, and the guitar, a little less control. Keyboard, it's also kind of stiff, right? You get these rigid notes as you go
Oh,
down the keys. But
that's
with the
interesting.
vocal, you can get like a theremin continuous tone quality. It goes ooh, which is hard to
Cool.
do in most instruments, right?
Yep,
So,
it
but
is.
it's a lot of fun,
Indeed.
and then you can run it through effects and reverse it, tweak it, do so you
Mhm.
can use it for sound effects, not just. If you tweak it enough, someone may not notice its actual speech, and you can do some of their weird
It's
things with it.
it's so much fun. Really,
It is
it's
fun.
it's,
Yeah, it's just
it's
and
impressive.
especially when you put it in the one of the phrase ones, and just go.
God, that's uncanny. That's
Yeah,
really uncanny.
and they also,
Amazing.
if you don't want to use Vocaloid software, which is a pain to install apparently, and I think it's pretty expensive actually.
Okay.
Takes up a lot of computer resources from what I've heard. You can get the Smiku Stomp, or you can get there's even a I forgot which company makes it. It might be Gakken, the guys that make a bunch of little Japanese devices for music.
Hmm.
But they make a stylophone version of this.
Ah.
So you get a subset of Vocaloid just like on this in a stylophone.
Uh-huh.
So I
Just
have it around here
more.
somewhere again. It's in a box somewhere. I haven't used it for a while, but
I think. Yeah, I think that would be an easier way to get into it and get nicer results faster because stylophone you just basically
yeah.
pinch on the note you want to play.
And they make a
Cool.
Vocaloid
That's
keytar as well. There's
a
a
Yamaha one,
worldwide,
right?
yeah, it's a Yamaha keytar. Worldwide distributed version is not the Vocaloid one. It's a Japanese
Exactly.
only one. And unfortunately, the app is geotagged.
It's not the
So
SH10, no, isn't?
no,
No.
it's some other funny one. I forgot the name of it. But I almost got one, and then I realized I can't
Is
find
it?
the app to install it. And without the app, it's a crippled
Ah,
keytar.
Jesus.
You want the
Sorry
full
about
app to go in and change settings so you can get all the Vocaloid goodness in the keytar. So there's a
that. Mhm.
keytar, a lady who does a channel just on keytars mostly. She has them all over her wall. She
Oh,
does it from her bed, and she has the keytar one, the Vocaloid one, plus the regular one, which is as a
I
keytar, not
think.
a good keytar, but the Vocaloid part is cool.
Yeah, what's the
I can't
name?
remember her name, but if you just look at
Something and the
Vocaloid
cat.
keytar, yeah, I can't remember her name, but
Yeah,
she does a nice
I think.
demo on it.
Yeah, I think she's the one I blame for me buying the Vortex.
Oh, the cat
She made
pedal.
an awesome demonstration, the guitar Vortex, the Alesis.
Oh, the Lisa
So
Vortex. Yeah, she's keytar lady. Yeah.
so
But
let's do this quickly and let's just finish because
yeah,
people might want to go to bed.
no worries.
Not probably not you, but yes. So let me just zoom a little fast over the parameters. So apart from turning the thing on, you amazingly enough, and let me just reiterate, we're talking about technology that's all coming from just a quarter-inch standard guitar cable. We're not using divided pickups here. We're not using fret sensor. We're not using anything extra on the guitar but the quarter-inch. Okay, which is what in my eyes it makes this technology amazing, and it kind of gives a run for its money to the JK line. So the mode is, if you want to have, like on a divided pickup, you get to choose if you want. On divided regular pickups is usually 6 strings, because this is not uh, bonded, is not limited by the divided pickup parameters and the 13-pin technology. This can actually be triggered by a 7-string and kind of even an 8-string guitar. So there's not a specific guitar string limitation. What it does have is a note range limitation. Okay, so
Real quick, could you
that
imitate a Chapman stick with it? That's a lot of strings.
That's the best I can do.
No, I mean with the string, you said it could handle multiple strings. So could you
That's what
simulate up to? Yeah.
this parameter, the mode, allows you to split each string on a different MIDI channel. So if you have a multi-timbral synthesizer to trigger, you could have a different sound on each string, which, if you've gone through the pain of having to deal with 13-pin technology, it's basic. It blows your mind. It's how the heck do they guess which one? What is really funky is, as in probably they didn't really thought about it, or they rushed it out, is the fact that it's not actually one channel per string. They choose one note which does not coincide with the standard tuning of any guitar, and each string is divided to the next channel in that note. I think the treble E string happens by accident to be that high E note, but the rest of the strings get divided on an E note. I think I need to go through that again, or something like that. So basically, you start finding up to two, and I think one of the strings has 3 MIDI channels in the same string, because on a 24th fret guitar, you go at least twice through the same note, if not 3 times. Yeah, it's more like twice. But yeah, so it's really funky because it throws you off. They divided the MIDI channels like you would divide the songs on a keyboard, not like you would divide the channels on a guitar, as in the open strings is a different channel. I understand it's a little hard to grasp this concept, but because I chose the monophonic synth to do the demo, I cannot really show it. But that's what you would choose here in mode. So do you have all the strings in one MIDI channel, or you want the different channels on different strings? Then, like every other synthesizer on MIDI language, you choose your bend range in semitones. So that would be step and a half. The bend thinning data, if you want to trigger a synthesizer that does not agree with excessive pitch modulation, as in bend, like in a keyboard bend lever information, you can basically thin it out and make it simpler, more digestible for that synthesizer to play.
The Casio PG380 I have, that's 1 MIDI channel per string, right?
You can choose as well. I think you can choose. They give you the option. You can have one channel per string at the nut, or because it's a divided pickup, so it should be able to do it. It's just about the implementation of the MIDI firmware, if it's capable of doing it or not. Probably the top model that you have can do it, and probably the more simplistic, or the models without the synth brain, might not be able to do it. I'm not sure because I never had one. So the penultimate, the play field is basically how much velocity are you going to be outputted depending on the attack of your notes, as in how easy is to generate a MIDI note, in a way of speaking. And then chromatic, you can turn it on and off. So if you're going to be doing bendings, as in you're going to be doing very high bendings beyond or up to the bend range you set before, or you're going to be doing slides, if you want those slides to transmit as pitch bending, as in pitch wheel movement, or as in different notes, like you would play a scale on a piano. So either would sound like a doing, or it would sound like a tiki 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 tiki. So, and all of that out of the quarter inch, as I said, it blows my mind. So what I just attached now, I'm gonna show I'll just try to show this if it works again. And yeah, but the camera's not properly positioned. So let me see if I can put it back so everybody can see. I just took my 303. Help me a little bit because you know that I don't see the colors. There's a red MIDI cable coming from the 303 to the GT100. Is that right? Can you see that?
It's very small. I can't see.
Yes, but you can see the connector, right?
I see something there, yeah, but it's so small because you didn't make it full screen.
This is the MIDI one.
Yeah.
This is the USB I've been using for the editor, right, which is still working, which is kind of a first for Boss. But on my 5-pin DIN connection out, that is what I'm connecting to the 303, right? Okay. And just as a point of making this clear how this works, what I just did is I turned off the volume of the 303 and I turn on the volume of the patch that I have at the same time. It's like two parallel units doing a completely different job out of the same pitch information. All right, which is as follows. So if I play a simple scale and I unmute the channel, that helps a lot. Yes. So this is the patch underneath. Right, which I could output. I can choose to have at the same time or not. Thanks. Ooh, there it goes. Ooh. There goes the camera. And then you wonder why I break him. Hey. Can you see? Yeah, roughly enough. So, or thanks to the rocker pedal, you can turn it off. It's a little tricky because the 303 weight puts it back, so it might mistrigger. So now the patch is silent, kind of. At least it should be. Yeah, now it's silent. Yeah, it just a little tad. Let's sound out. Okay, so and now I'm gonna turn on the 303 volume out. Which is connected through an aux in, a stereo aux in that this unit has. Not all GTs have one, but this one has. So you can, apart from the audio coming from your computer through the USB, you could either or at the same time, like now, have a different unit, like now, putting the sound straight to the output of the GT100. This aux out, to my knowledge, does not cannot be routed through the effects. It's just in and out. That's why it's very close to the outputs. So now I'm gonna go back to me. It's all about me. So you can see that when I'm playing, what you're gonna hear is the 303. Okay, the pitch information, let me go back and give a little more. In fact, let's get this out there, a little more visual to the audience. The band information is there, although it's very limited, but it's very responsive. It tracks flawlessly. And because I have the chromatic off, if I happen to do a slide, most of it, until it runs out of MIDI information, it's just one band, or until it runs out of that pitch, that band range that we assigned. If I put a band range of 1 octave, it would not have rate triggers. Then what is then with the problem, apart from the weird, bizarre channel splitting if you go in multi-channel mode? The problem with this technology: A, forget about polyphony. It does not happen, does not trigger, it can't do it. It goes a little crazy in between the harmonics of the notes, right? And second is the note range you have. Funny enough, they made the cut right one note lower than a 7 string, which is bizarre, because to that point they didn't release anything thinking on 7 string guitar. So it still will trigger the low B all the way to the highest E. Wait. Oh. No, it doesn't. Wait, what? Good. Oh, wait, no. It's sending the MIDI note. It's the 303 that cannot play that much range. Remember that it's a bass synth. It's limited. At least this Behringer copy, I think it has only like 2 or 3 octaves range. And 7 strings is almost 4.5 octaves. So it goes out of range of the synthesizer, not of the MIDI range. What it goes out of range, and that's what I'm gonna show for the last thing, is if I try to play a bass. That's gonna be fun. Just give me a second.
Real quick,
yes.
You have a device that will, from an audio input, play multiple strings and trigger them, right? It's not just. There is an audio in technology that you can do chords, isn't there?
There is now, thanks to the pitch correction, things like Melodyne or Autotune.
As a bass unit, isn't there a bass unit that can do that, or still not yet?
Bass unit. First of all, you don't really want to play chords on bass. So why do you mean by that?
Not bass unit as in like box. Bass unit meaning on the floor, not bass as an instrument bass. Your little box there, you're running stuff through. Is there technology without using a computer that you can do audio in and get multiple strings triggering? Oh, you muted yourself. I don't hear you. You're mute.
Sorry.
I thought one of the newer 1000 SY, whatever it's called, or GG, whatever.
According to the blurb, they claim that the SY line of Boss floor units, which is basically a single compact pedal, SY1, half multi-effects unit is a third of the size of this one, SY300. Double pedal size unit, the SY200, and the fully fledged, almost this big SY1000. Out of the quarter inch, they can play chords. But the times I tested it, it does not really sound like synthesizer polyphony.
Just missing notes.
No, sounds like a string machine.
Okay.
You don't get full. How is it? It's not inflection.
So it's thin. You're getting just.
No, you don't get the full attack filter envelope per note. It's like it multiplies.
Paraphonic.
Sounds paraphonic.
Yeah, right.
It's like multiplies the harmonics of the strongest note.
Okay.
Funny enough, on the same pitches you're playing, it's not making you play weird things, but the tone of it, to my ears, the times I tested it, through the quarter inch sounds more like a string machine, like a divide down a paraphonic system.
Okay, so just so beginners know this when they buy stuff, if you want to do chords and more than just one lead, you
So
have to do
far,
hexaphonic
divided,
pickup.
divided pickup. Yeah,
Yeah.
either one of them, because it's mostly because the brain needs to pass everything you play through the filter of, is it noise or is it music? So if you put too much harmonics, and guitar already has a lot of harmonics, even more if you put pedals before the synthesizer, you beefed up the harmonics, making a square wave or a triangle each wave. The system go mental because he cannot tell what is noise and what is music.
Yeah, because this one does a great job with chords. If I just were a better player, I could show you. But
Yeah, but that's a divided pickup.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Exactly. So if
if
you
people
want
to buy
full,
something, we talked earlier about what to buy to get started. If you do want to do chords, buy a hexaphonic or something similar.
if you really need polyphony and you want to also get the extra goodies that a divided can give you, to the point that the flagship SY unit and now the GM800 unit, the SY encourages you forcefully to please install a divided pickup to get the 100% use of the SY1000. Because
But the
otherwise,
good news is the one that you're messing with now is still fun for sound design and making weird
oh yeah,
kind of stuff with.
and to add stuff and trigger stuff that you put up. For instance, you want that 8-bar sax solo, and you don't want to hire a sax player or even a keyboard player.
Yeah.
So you get this unit to make a solo, as in monophonic note lines, one after the other, triggering whatever rompler you choose to use for that particular 8-bar of that one song in the whole set list. It's awesome. And if you get creative,
but you won't
you
quite
can
get
go
Baker Street out of it, right? So.
that depends on how do you set up the system, how good is your rompler, and how good you adapt your playing to the rompler.
Right.
It could do. As I said, this might not be a good example because it's a bass synth and it's monophonic. It's only three octaves range. I think it's 2.5 octaves range. It's not the best example for that, but I could set up on a future day a good example to show you that it could do awesome stuff. Let me plug the bass so I can show what I mean by limit in the range.
Give you a kalimba interlude here.
Yes, please. Interlude music. So once again, I know I'm being tiresome, but remember, all we're using today, okay, is a quarter-inch connection. No special guitar, no special pickup, just any pickup off the shelf. So I'm going to do the same process again. I'm going to show you just the signal processing to the bass, and then the MIDI triggering of the synth. It's 90% sure that it's going to be out of tune, but please forgive. So the same patch, let's not bother because
Also another question for you. So if you're a capo user, then you have to think about that, right? Because now you're going to tweak your range, and you could also mess yourself up by using a capo, right?
Yeah, but remember that capo is usually going higher. Don't
you have a limited range with the higher notes as well, or not necessarily?
I have not tested what is the highest limit.
Yeah.
I know there's a lowest limit. I have not found the highest limit.
Okay.
All right. So let's assume that, first of all on a guitar, sorry, and even on a bass, playing higher notes, all the fretboard, it's within the range of the unit. You don't get out of the range of the unit going higher.
Because
in a
the MIDI
fretboard
spec is
of
128 notes, so some things
exactly.
do go beyond. Right.
So in this unit, purposefully they chopped off that range because it's stupid. No guitar goes anywhere near close. I don't know, a 10-string bass is barely 5 octaves, and nobody's actually using that anymore, kind of. Right. Or a 9-string guitar is still only 6 octaves. You don't really go beyond that. So remember that, just bear with me, that is a patch for guitar, okay? But you get the original patch. I think this guitar is tuned down to, let me see. It's in F sharp right now, which is basically, wait, what? No, this can be right. Oh no, it's not that tune, it's actually E. Just out of tune. So it's a standard bass tune. It's the same octave, right? And this is the low B. It's very dull and very boomy because of the patch and because these are black nylons, which are extremely boomy and dull. Okay. So now I'm gonna do the same process. I'm gonna take the patch away and I'm gonna turn on the 303. And now it should only come the 303. So we start with guitar notes, which are anything above the 12th fret. Those are the same notes you play on a guitar. Okay, no problem there. Let's start getting lower. Bass low. And it's gone. Basically, they set the limit on A, which is basically, so the 7-string guitar I was using goes all the way to this B, right? Just because, and because they know that even people with 7 strings will down tune it, they allow the system to go one step lower, but not any lower.
Is that also because tracking on super low notes is hard because it
nope.
Can't keep up?
As you can see, the tracking on bass it's not mistracking, it's not latency, it's not going behind, it's not there, it's not sending that note.
But historically that was a problem early days, right? Is the tracking, the
yeah, I mean, yeah, Synth-Tar is always been written with either mistriggers, because once again the system cannot tell what is rumble and what is music, and or latency when they went digital / MIDI. And they're still fighting it because many things, and probably because the system that would not have those problems is basically a laptop, which is $2,000 to $3,000. So not so funny for just guitar players that want an extra sound. So it's kind of, the market is not there yet. Although then we saw on the previous show, this luthier from, I think, Ireland, that is selling his guitar with Chaos Pad, with Synth Brain, with MIDI actual MIDI output out of the guitar. It's a 5-pin in, spitting the full MIDI implementation out of the guitar with 2 or 3 button placements and a full screen. And we saw it. It was beyond 3 grand. The basic model was 3 grand and a half. But because he's not using divided pickup, he's basically using a double system. But the heavy weight of his system is the second or the first better working technology, which is basically fret triggering, which is because the strings are made of metal and frets are made of metal. He builds inside the boot through the truss rod cavity a bunch of cables connecting each fret with the brain that also connects with each string to feel the attack, to trigger the attack, and senses the fret you're actually fretting down for the pitch information and for the attack trigger. When is it going to happen? And then the sensors in the bridge feel the velocity and basically the velocity. Also, with that technology, you can also feel on a guitar, if you plug near the bridge is brighter, near the neck is duller, is darker. His system and other systems similar based on divided pickups can also feel that and transform that into MIDI interaction with the synthesizer you are triggering. And that was it. Cool. And scene. Good. Anybody still asleep out there? Are you having fun?
Still there.
Still there? The 2 frets were connected with 1 string. Huh. Fret logic. Sure, yeah. Because in fact, you don't usually touch more than 2 frets with 1 string, because every fret behind fretting basically gets annulled. It only senses the highest fret that can feel. Because yes, technically when you fret your string, you're also touching the lower frets, but obviously you teach the system that, oh, if you're feeling 3 and 5, or sorry, if you're sensing 3 and 4, ignore 3, because what we want to be sounding as a note is 4. Once again, we go down the computer digital road. The sky is the limit. Coding is the limit. It's how sharp and how smart is your coding to make it more playable, more interesting, and more enjoyable.
Do you remember the name of the guy who made that custom system? Or the name of the system?
Love? Just let me...
I can go back and look at it. I forgot.
Stephen Smith is making these very good comments. This was the first one I was answering about the lower frets. It would need fret logic where 2 frets were connected with 1 string. But then he replied this also. You do touch multiple springs if you, I assume by bare you mean
the bar chords.
You make a this movement. Yeah, but that's not 1 string. That's 4, 3, 6, 7 strings playing the same fret. And the system is a matrix, a string and fret, and that's how it defines and selects the pitch that is going to trigger. Thank you very much for the question, Stephen. Appreciate it. No, as I said, Stephen, I appreciate your interaction. I just showed it because it's a very good question that I know that many people have. Even more if you, in the case of that particular luthier, if you're about to put down 3 to 5 grand on an instrument, you need to be sure that that thing is going to work, and it's going to work good enough. It's going to basically get you rid of all the shortcomings of the 13-pin technology has. Still, although it's funny because, to my knowledge, which is still limited, 13-pin technology has been fluctuating. So it improved, but it became too expensive. So it simplified to become cheaper, but then people complained, so it had to improve, and then it become again too expensive. So people it's been also the fact that it's not been out there for too long compared to any other instruments, like, I don't know, like the piano. We only been having synth guitar since the 70s, to my knowledge, as in not the somebody researching the technology, but a product on the market. I don't think there ever was a synth guitar, as in a guitar triggering a synth, not at analog inside the guitar built synth, because I think one of those got released in the 60s, or probably 5 or 6 attempts, but they were heavy, they were expensive. I think they would either heat up or break up very easy, so they didn't catch. But as a product standard with a flow of cash, I think we can safely say 70s, from the 70s on, which is that's 50 years, barely 50 years compared to the piano, which is more than 200. So there you go. You need no neck twist. Sorry, I don't get that. Obviously, it's not a good thing if you twist the neck of your guitar, and if you're of certain age like me, twisting too much, your head neck also hurts. But I don't know what are you referring to, Stephen? Sorry. And that's the only reason why I cannot use the GT100 to play on my EBM project, because I want to play the 303 on my guitar. I can only go this low. I cannot go lower.
So then, what mod you're going to use?
I'm gonna have to revert to the 55 for live, and more very likely attached to one of the JBs, basically.
The problem with doing that on EDM stuff on a guitar like that, with all the potential missed triggers and stuff, because everyone wants that music to be perfect. If you throw glitches in, they're gonna go, "What the fuck did you just do this track?"
Exact, but you see, I just noticed you have it's not a mistake, it's your misconception. The one I want to play is EBM, Echo Bravo Mama. Oh. The one you're mentioning is EDM, Echo Delta Mama.
Oh, I thought you meant dance music. Okay.
Now, EBM is all about the glitch. That's why I need ratchets. I need, remember the cat pedal? Yeah. I want a Miku stomp, but I want a Miku stomp to distort it, to put it through a fast pedal, to make it, to destroy it, basically.
Yeah.
Without a truss rod. No, they don't. Now I understand. So his comment was this. That's the one I didn't understand, and he meant this. Without a truss rod, as in you take out the truss rod of the neck to put the wires for the system. You can play the 303 through the SVC 355 pitch to voltage intensive mean interface. Huh. Okay, I never knew about that. That's an interesting one. I have to do some research. But yeah, the fret to MIDI systems don't remove the truss rod. The truss rod is still there. They just make extra channels for the cabling. Thank you very much. Really, you're very helpful. So, I think this is a show. Do you agree?
Sure. Yeah, it's good times. Gotta play some wacky pedals and
That's
do
always
some
fun.
nerdy stuff.
Sorry. Oops. Not that one. That's why I can
I have more wacky pedals. I just don't have them handy.
make a list, and we'll have to revise because
There's some other fun stuff too. Like if you ran the Synth-9 through the Pog, that would
mhm.
be pretty cool. So the polyphonic octave generator would be pretty
Exactly,
wild.
because today we just saw what happens with one pedal, but
Yeah,
if you in this new advent and this new golden age of the pedal manufacturing, because pedals, although they're not as affordable as they used to be, because wow, some prices and some boutique manufacturers, wow, with the prices, but the quality is magnitude superior that they ever were. The variety, it's unprecedented,
yeah,
and the stackability and the combinability that it's at your foot tips,
yeah.
foot toes nowadays is crazy. If you if you are in the guitar world and go to even Facebook groups like Pedal Boards of Doom, you see such monstrosities that when you start analyzing what's in there and the way that the owner uses it, you
Yeah.
go, mate, that's not effects for a guitar. That's a freaking modular synthesizer down below your feet.
It ends up looking like it, if not sounding kind of
No,
like
no,
it.
no.
Sure.
It is exactly. You got LFOs, you got filters, you got generators, you got oscillators,
Yeah.
you got also all the blocks, all the food groups. They're
Well,
down
that's
there.
why Poly makes the Bebo and the one that's like the other firmware. So it is a stomp box that is a modular synth.
Yeah.
So you can, and it has soft patch cables in there. You can tweak it. It's pretty wild.
And remember the one that Game Changer Devices released this year in NAM? The one with
Kind
actual
of.
patch cables?
Yeah, there's that, and yeah, you can also do. Yeah, there's so many different
It's
variants
Volca
coming out now.
size patch cables, but they put
Yeah,
a patch cable matrix in those pedals, and they're
yeah.
meant to be for guitar. Obviously,
Gotta be careful not to
guitar,
step on it. Yeah,
don't step on the wire side. I
yeah,
think that the foot switch is a little farther away, probably
yeah,
not enough when you're in the heat of the battle.
yeah. If you're running around
But
stage and stomp on
oh
it.
yeah, exactly. But still, it's like, yeah, it's that's why this channel exists, because thanks to the new advent of new digital chips, DSP chips, the power that they have nowadays, the speed, the quality, the accuracy, uh, they're basically translating synthesizer technology into stomp box size, as in bite size pieces of gear
Yeah,
that you can buy one at a time, learn it, uh, not because they're what you see is what you get, but because in between the time it takes you to say for the next pedal, you have plenty of time to learn what that one can do to its fullest. And they start making crazy combinations that theoretically should not sound any good. But that's the wonderful side of human creation. We
and
make
you heard
things
this.
that
This thing sounds really great. The Synth-9. It's just
oh,
it's
that's not the one you plugged.
that's the one I had. Yeah, I had used earlier. Synth-9. Sounds
Oh yeah,
great.
I did hear that one.
Yeah, it sounds great. Just
Oh, they all do. I mean, and it's even greater sounding when you can see the price of those electro harmonics.
they had an early synth one. I forgot the name of it. It's Alter Ego or something like that. That made by
Okay.
Electro Harmonics. That is a synth pedal, but much more primitive than this one. But they've
I
been
mean,
doing that for a while. Not just reverbs and distortions
yeah,
and delays and stuff.
people might argue that the POG from the electro harmonics is a synthesizer,
Yeah, Pog is great.
because
Yeah,
although it's by addition kind of and multiplication kind of,
you're
it's
stacking.
generating oscillators on top
Yep.
of the one you're giving it,
Right.
and it tracks flawless, and it sounds awesome.
Well, I mean, ever since David Cockerell joined their company, I don't know if he's still there or not, but his ideas are crazy. He
Mm-hmm.
does really, really clever designs. So,
Oh, oh, ASF Strive is asking Super Ego.
that's up. Super Ego, that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
That was before the series came out, the Mel 9, the Synth 9, and the whatever the third, I think the third one is. I think I have the Ultra
Hey,
Box
ASF.
somewhere. Another one of those things in a box. I don't know where I put it.
Hey, ASF. How you doing, mate? Glad to see you around. Welcome to the Looney House. We
But
play
Pog is
guitars
fun 'cause
and
I-
synths.
Because I had started playing with it, but I had to get back to it. And running a theremin through a Pog, and now you
Hmm?
have a fairly thin tone spread out into this sort of crazy,
Yeah, I mean,
multi-tone.
as I said, it's the golden age. The limit is only your, well, at this point, it's only your pocket, is your wallet. That's the only limit, because some pedals they almost come with uh, with talent boosters inbuilt, because you don't really need to work very hard to get crazy, wonderful sounds out of them. Then it's up to you to put them into songs and use them creatively. Good, lurking is good. Asaf is good. I'm really glad you all of you came this time. We're gonna go back to the usual time. We're gonna do the next ones, hopefully tech allowing, first Friday of every month. But as I said, oh, and if you feel like there is we don't have Facebook group yet, but we have Discord chat. So please come and join. Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Let's see if I manage to paste the address. That's how professionals we are.
I see the chat. He said no neck twist. It made me think of this cartoon called No Neck Joe. Have you heard of that before?
No.
It was one of the Sick and Twisted animation festivals. No Neck Joe. Go look it up on YouTube. It's very funny.
Which it has a very short neck or something.
He's just a guy in a sweater like this. It's just a cute little funny animation.
So, I assume that if you look for six oscillators, you should be able to find it.
It has the same
Okay,
icon as the YouTube channel, right? So it should be easy to spot. I think it had the same icon.
No, not is not. Well, I should change it. I will change it, but at this moment, that's not. Where can I find the
Your
handle
voice just
in?
got lowered. You just almost gained a half an octave.
Yeah, that must be something dying in my side. Too much tech. How can I find the? How can I find the handle to share to the people so they can find it in?
I don't have it handy. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Just, I mean, there's only 1.6 oscillators on Discord, so let me see here. Let's see if it lets me go in.
Boost.
Yeah, it wants me to.
I gotta invite
Relog
people.
in.
I found that.
Sometimes I get stuck here. Oh, wait a minute. I think it's going. Here we go. 6
Got it?
oscillators. Where is it? Well, I got the Discord open. Now I have so many damn. There it is. I have
Yeah,
so
join the
many
club.
subscriptions that I get lost in here. So you have to actually send an invite for people to join. But I can
Okay.
at least put the link here for.
And how Ramsey does it? He does post the address. How does Ramsey
Let
do
me
it?
post.
He's the master. If I am here, it's because of him. He knows everything.
Can you see my thing in the chat? My thing's not showing as an admin, but I tried to post a link. Did it stick?
Let me check. Going back to the chat. Hey chatties, did that is stuck?
It's there. Okay.
I don't see it. I don't see any post from you in the live chat.
You don't. Okay, so probably strip me because I used to be as an admin on here. I don't have the admin wrench anymore. So you have to
You
send out an
keep losing
invite link.
the ranges.
I don't know what happened. But for now, just go to Discord and you know how to create a
and search for
invite
6
link?
oscillators with 6 as a number.
Yeah.
Number 6 and oscillators, no space.
Actually, in Discord, you spelled it with SIX. It's different than the YouTube.
Oh, did I? Oh my god. I'm all over the place.
It's okay.
I'm all over the... Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'll change it. Don't worry.
You can change that. Yeah, you can change that.
I'll change
But
it.
normally you have to send out a Discord invite to people, and then they just click it and make.
Yeah, I found that. Invite people.
Yeah.
Good. Wait. Here it is. Here's the handle. So now let's see if I can put it into the chat. Okay, that's the Discord. Could somebody please try it and tell us if that works? Is there anybody out there? I love that album.
Oh yeah. I didn't see your thing in the chat either. Did you post in the chat?
Okay, I did.
I don't see it.
But it was a message because I'm in the chat. I'm like me, not like 6 oscillators.
Yeah, so you have to add yourself as the admin as well.
But it allowed me because apparently I'm so I got a wrench
You
and
didn't
allowed
even
me
show
to.
up. I didn't even see you as a wrench.
What chat are you looking
I
at?
see is from ASAP. I don't see any of the messages.
And the next one, 2:06 a.m. That's me.
I just refreshed. I don't see it.
Where are you looking at the chat? I'm looking
YouTube.
in YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. Yeah.
Crazy.
Just refresh the page again.
Yeah.
And the last one I see.
For instance, in StreamYard, it doesn't show my comment.
That's because it didn't go through. It should have gone through.
So it's lying to me. It's telling me that he put it through, but it didn't.
It didn't. Yeah.
If I can put it here.
It's because you're also not an admin. You got to add yourself as an admin to the channel.
That's crazy. And now I put it through StreamYard, and once again it tells me that
now it's there.
That's crazy. Because he understands that is 6 oscillators, not me.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But in my screen, they're both in.
It's me too. Until I refreshed, then mine disappeared.
Bugs, huh? Computers, huh?
Well, it's because we're not admins with our normal accounts. So it's YouTube.
We own the channel. We're not administrators of the channel. That's funny.
Well, yeah, it's a manual thing. You have to add it, so it's no big deal.
Okay, shall we call it a night?
Good times.
So does it work? I'm gonna take by that awesome that it does actually work and you went there. Please say hi, make questions. Like I love this channel called 60 Taco Ham. One of the hosts closes with, please send your rude and nasty comments. Because the guy loves trolling the trolls.
Well, as I say, you don't have to ask. Usually people just do it anyway. So.
Good. Asa, thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, we have, what do we have now? Oh, 5 people watching. That's cool.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we're famous. We're going places.
It was up to about 10 earlier. Like that was the max today.
The V-Guitar section of the Discord is gonna be standing by because as you can see, Mr. Conrad Elantric is basically, let me please allow me to do a little joke. he's being a rock star and is very busy with his music and his bands and many other projects that he has that sadly keeps him away from us temporarily. We hope and we wish and we would love to have him back as soon as he's able to. Therefore, nobody's going to be able to attend the V-Guitar Forum section of the Six Oscillators. So just don't look at it. I don't want to remove it in case he comes back, but please don't look at it. Thank you. Thank you, A-Stripe. You're the boss, mate. You're my savior.
You still sound like
we're gonna say goodbye. The what? Again?
Where do you hear the playback? You sound like Barry White. So.
Oh my god, really that bad?
It's fun.
But you think it's bit rate or it's actually my voice that is going out?
It's some tweak you did. It just happened. Just it went from normal to tweaked like in a click. So I don't know what happened.
I think I've been doing.
It sounds like you just woke up.
How do you call? I've been juggling tech way beyond my understanding and my capabilities all night long.
No worries.
It was successful. I think it was.
Got to work,
all the points came through.
Yeah.
So please keep us. I will keep you posted. Keep an eye on the channel and notifications because next month, first of the month, which let me commit myself, otherwise it's never going to happen, which is going to be July 5th. July the 5th or the 5th of July 2024. We'll be back 11 p.m. UK, which is what time on your side?
3 o'clock. Pacific.
Good. 3 p.m. Pacific, which would be what? 8. What is 5 hours to the Atlantic? East Coast?
It's 3 hours ahead there, so it's 3 p.m. here, 6 p.m. there.
6 p.m. East Coast. And by the way, any of you in the UK, I will be assisting and demonstrating my Roland JB collection at Synthesize the 29th and 30th of June in Cambridge, in the Center for Computer History in Cambridge. I think that's the right one.
How far is that for you?
Because of roads, I remember it was close to 4 hours or around the 4-hour mark drive. I don't drive like a maniac. I drive under the speed limit.
Right.
So,
by the way, after you had your vocal thing, make it lower. I can also hear myself on a rebound. So it's some setting you have there. No big deal.
I might be able to. Yeah, yes. I need to know those things. I might be able. That's why. I think it's Discord has mangled everything when I open. Discord has tons of audio stuff that I don't understand.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves and play tons of synths and guitars and synths, but also guitars, okay? And don't forget the guitars. All right?
That's right.
Night.
Go guitar. Bye.
Bye.